members of the Nevis Island Administration Cabinet, members of the press, and all those who are present this morning. Let me first of all say that yesterday was a red letter day for the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis and a green letter day for the good people of Nevis. The bill passed in the National Assembly simply says that companies carry on business in Nevis to pay corporate tax to the Nevis Island Administration instead of the federal government. This, to my mind, is, one may say, a small step, but it is a giant step for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis because of the political and economic development of Nevis within a state and then in a federation with St. Kitts has been one that was born across a channel of strife. Since the days of the Right Excellent Robert Llewellyn-Bracha, our first national hero, and now the days of our Prime Minister, Dr. Denzel Llewellyn-Douglas, the Nevisian mantra has been to blame St. Kitts for the failures of our Nevisian politicians. Since the days of the Nevis Island Administration in 1983 to 2006, the political strategy in Nevis was, if you blame St. Kitts for everything that don't happen, you will get elected time and time again. And you are twice blessed if the government in Bastia is red. Since 2006, the mantra has been cooperation, consultation, instead of confrontation. Let it be known at the outset that the NRP-led Joseph Walcott Parry administration has, in consultation and cooperation with the Douglas-led Labour administration, strategically positioned me in the federal government for the express purpose of bringing benefits to the Nevis Island administration and the good people of Nevis. Let the records show that I have not yet served a year as the Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we have been able to achieve this significant milestone. When the naysayers remark and ask what Nevis is getting, let them read the bill and appreciate the import and impact of companies paying their corporate taxes in Nevis. To backtrack slightly, in 1995, we witnessed a period of cross-channel blaming and abuse by the former CCM administration in Nevis. Indeed, the new government in Bastia was not even 1 year when the secession in Nevis was not merely a talk, but an active pursuit of the administration in Nevis. To my mind, that ushered in a period when the federal government and the Nevis Island administration agreed to do things, but the modus operandi of the Nevis Island administration then was to cajole and confront the federal government. Little wonder then that there was no meaningful development in Nevis during those 14 years. In 1983, the Constitution mandated that St. Kitts and Nevis would be run by a federal government led by a Prime Minister, and the Nevis Island administration led by a Premier. The Constitution did not have to say so, but it stands to reason and logic that both leaders must cooperate, consult, and communicate for the betterment of the two islands. Nothing except confusion could result from not merely getting along. It was the lack of cooperation that landed St. Kitts and Nevis on the blacklist and nearly crippled our offshore financial services in Nevis. Indeed, between 1998 to 2006, Nevis meandered through turbulent paths while Sinkit was basking in the sunshine. You had the Marriott coming, and we had nothing coming. There was a complete absence of trust. The federal government and the Nevis Island administration would agree on writing on a number of initiatives, only to see the administration in Nevis turning its back on those agreements. In 2006, we started to sing a different tune. And as a result of that different tune, we saw yesterday the bringing of this bill to the Parliament, and it was eventually passed by the members of the National Assembly. This bill, as the Premier alluded earlier in his comments, had been a bill that was much sought after since 1983. As I said earlier, I have been strategically placed to deal with issues such as the corporate tax and the devolution of power to the Nevis Island Assembly. This we shall do by negotiation and not by negativity, by the knocking of minds and not by the butting of heads, by formidable friendships and fraternity and not by feuding among ourselves. Investors, both local and foreign, welcome this new initiative and this breath of fresh green air. The close and ardent working relationship between the government in Bastia and the administration in Nevis, if history would recall, helped to bring the Four Seasons here back in 1986. That cooperation between federal government and Nevis Island administration has today helped to resurrect the Four Seasons from the dead. And today we can see quite evidently that beautiful economic symphony that is arising once again in Nevis. I want the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis to know that the federal government has played its role in the rebounding of the Four Seasons brand here on our shores in Nevis. Today, we repatriate corporate taxes to Nevis. Tomorrow, we will visit the issues of security, police, education, health, and the other matters. By the time I have served my first year as the Attorney General, the Nevis Reformation Party or the Nevis Island administration, in consultation and agreement with a trusted and a trustworthy Labour Prime Minister, would have brought to the people of Nevis untold benefits merely spoken of by former administrations. The good people of Nevis, I believe, are aware that this achievement that we have achieved could not have happened without the Nevis Island administration having a stepbrother in the federal government. Let us seize the new era and rise and build upon the new relationship that we have sought to concretize. Let us eschew the days when there was conflict and when the federal government thought, with good reason, that the Nevis Island administration was a necessary nuisance and a political migraine. Let us therefore simmer down in this new era of economic renaissance, and let us work together so that the good people of these islands can be the envy of all the islands of the Caribbean. I would want, in ending, to thank the Honourable Prime Minister, my colleagues in Cabinet, and those in the Federal Parliament for supporting this landmark piece of legislation, for it will benefit the verdant pastures of Nevis. And I also plead with the naysayers to join us in these giant steps forward in the further development of Nevis. I would want to thank God and to thank the good people of St. James and St. Thomas's and the Nevis Reformation Party for giving me this opportunity to serve them at this time.